Hello everyone, Cindy here with Monarch Mom DIY. It is that time of year. Fall decor and craft items are now showing up in Dollar Tree, so I have 4 quick and easy and nice looking fall DIYs for you today. For our DIY number 1, we're going to use one of these wood pumpkins with the 3 sections, an easel, and one of these mini clipboards that I'm going to use as a little picture frame. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the raffia bow and the hanger and any glue globs that are there. Just heat it up a little bit and you can scrape it off. Then I'm going to take my white Waverly chalk paint and I'm going to paint the back of this pumpkin. So everything around the 3 raised sections. If you get a little bit of paint on the raised sections, it's okay. We are going to be cutting and Mod Podging scrapbook paper onto those 3 sections. So I'm pretty sure these also come in white and black, but this natural colored one is what I had in my stash. So I'm going to remove the easel from the back, remove the bow. I did have to use some needle nose pliers to get this section off. Just grab it and kind of twist till it comes off. Sand it a little bit so it's nice and smooth, and then I'm going to paint this white on the front here after I smooth out any other jagged pieces, and we're going to paint it on the front and all around the 4 sides. I want my little sign to be able to stand, so I had in my stash this little easel that came with a square canvas. I'm just going to use the easel for this project, so I am also going to paint this white so that it matches the rest of our pieces. Now, coming back to our pumpkin, I'm taking this scrapbook paper and I'm placing it on top and using my fingernail to kind of trace around those 3 raised sections. This is going to make an imprint and then we'll be able to cut these 3 pieces out. It was actually easier to see the sections on the yellow side. I could not even see them on the white side with the flowers. So get these cut out as best you can. It's okay if they're a little bit off because I tried to do a little bit of white around the edges of those sections. Here you can see I just had to lay it back down and kind of re-press out that last little part. We'll get these all cut out and then we're going to apply them with some Mod Podge. Once the paper on those 3 sections is dry, I am going to put some more Mod Podge and make sure the top is sealed down, and then I'm also going to go around the edges on all the areas that we painted white just to give a nice uniform look. Once that was dry, I'm going to take my Tim Holtz Distress ink in Walnut Stain, and we're just going to distress around the edges of our pumpkin and then also on the little mini clipboard. Next, taking this ribbon from Hobby Lobby. I love these colors, and you'll see the 4 projects today kind of have a similar color scheme. I'm just going to keep playing with it until I get a bow the size that I want. We'll trim the edges and then we'll dovetail them as well before we glue this to the top of our pumpkin stem. Next, I'm going to put some glue on the 2 angled sides or pieces of the easel, and I'm going to glue the pumpkin right to the front of it, getting it lined up as best I can, pressing it down. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to apply the mini clipboard to the center of our pumpkin. I thought this would be really cute. You could have it in the kitchen. You could put your recipe that you're making on it, or even a photograph. So really versatile. And I'm going to show you here also, because of the way I glued the easel, you can store this flat. It can just fold down there in the middle, and then you can store that away. I love how this turned out. You can do it with so many different colors and papers. I hope you guys enjoyed that. DIY number 2, we're going to take a pizza pan from Dollar Tree and some florals and ribbon, as well as one of these round fall signs and 2 of these bead lanyards that I found. First thing we're going to do is remove the raffia bow and the hanger from the sign. I'm also going to spray paint my pan this beautiful moss green. And then taking some E6000 and some hot glue, we're going to glue this sign from Dollar Tree right down to the center of the pizza pan. It fits perfectly. So again, E6000 and then a little bit of hot glue. I'm going to glue it down on the pizza pan and put some bottles of paint on it to weigh it down. Make sure it attaches securely. Now this was a new item I found at Dollar Tree, this bead lanyard. It's got unfinished beads, and then it's got these little gold beads in between with this lanyard clip on the end. I thought these would be really pretty to put around the sign here, like between or over that gap between the sign and the pizza pan. So I'm trimming it off and putting some hot glue so that my beads don't come off. It's just on thread. This is by Jot, so you might find it in the office supplies. You might find it by where like the glass cleaning supplies are, things like that. So look for these. I found them at one store so far. I'm just going to take hot glue and put a bead, run a little bit, and then press the beads into that glue, moving a little bit at a time. And look how beautiful that is with the beads and the gold beads. I love it. I did have to use part of a second one to get all the way around. Now I did punch holes in this pizza pan with my Crocodile Big Bite. If you're interested in where to find that, you can go to the description box. I will be sure to link it in my Amazon store. And I'm just going to tie some jute twine because we already have beads on the sign. I didn't feel like I needed beads on the hanger. Plus the hanger's mostly going to get covered up by the florals we're going to add as well. I love these blue fall florals and also the tan ones. I was trying to go with the colors that were in the sign. So I'm just cutting little pieces and kind of laying them back and forth. And I cropped a lot of that out. You didn't need to watch me do that. But once I get what I wanted on each side, I'm going to secure them all together with a zip tie. So since they're all held together with a zip tie, I just needed a little dollop of glue. Sorry, you can't quite see it where I glued it, but I did glue it above the beads on the pizza pan. And now I'm just going to make a real simple bow. I just crisscrossed and then gathered it here in the middle. I'm going to tie it with a piece of jute twine, and then we'll trim up the tails so that they're not covering up the words in our sign. Just fluff it out. I don't even think I cover up the jute, which is, you know, completely optional. You could put something like a button or whatever you want there. And just dovetailing by folding each of the tails in half. And then you cut at an angle from the fold to the outer edge. So cute. And it was a little long. I wanted it to be a little bit shorter than what the leaves were hanging down, so I did trim each side again. And then I'm just going to glue that right on top of the zip tie. Now you see that spot where I pulled off some of the paper. I was a little rough when I took the bow off. So we're going to use a couple little pieces and we're just going to cover that up. Just fill in kind of under the bow and on top of it as well. So this is our finished project with a pizza pan, the lanyards, the sign. I did see a few options in these round signs. Let me know what you guys think of this. For DIY number 3, I'm going to use some of these shapes. They're super cute how they are, but you can take these and make something a little more personalized, I guess. You could do all pumpkins, all acorns, all leaves if you want. I will say that the leaves were a little hard to trim around, so keep that in mind, but I'm just removing the little tacks and the strip with the word on it. Of course, I saved those words so I can use them in another project. And we're just going to sand these down a little bit. They did have a bit of glue on them, so just trying to get them as flat as possible. Then I went into my scrapbook paper stash and I got 4 patterns that all kind of went together. And I'm going to trace around my shape on the back of the paper and cut out each of my pieces that I need. I'm going to do 4 different patterns for my 4 different pieces. Next, taking Mod Podge, I'm going to Mod Podge these papers onto the front. Notice I didn't want to cover up the cute little top there of the acorn, so I traced the paper starting right at that line. This is a thicker cardstock, but I'm still going to spritz a little bit of water on it to get it to adhere down really well to that Mod Podge. I'm going to do this for all 4 of my shapes. Once that cardstock was dry on there, I'm going to take my sander and clean up the edges. Again, this was a thicker cardstock, so I had to use, I think I even used like 80 grit just to get all that paper off. Now, I have used the lighter or the fire method before to trim shapes like this. I think it wasn't working because this cardstock was so thick. If it was just regular paper that you Mod Podged on there, I think it would work. So then I tried sanding it, and then I'm like, you know what? I just need to flip it over and use my little Fisker's fingertip knife to get in all those little spaces. So do with that information what you will. I think the leaf turned out super cute, but it was a little bit more of a pain to trim the excess of the cardstock. Coming back to my Tim Holtz Distress ink in Walnut Stain, we're going to go ahead and distress around the edges of all 4 of our shapes. If you do get a little extra on there, you can just kind of wipe that off. Then I'm going to use these. Now these are sticker letters from Hobby Lobby in the teaching supplies. So by where the bulletin board paper is and stuff, they're kind of big. They're like 3 inches or something. But I liked them. It's what I had in my stash. So I'm just going to spell fall. I also thought it'd be fun to get a few extra shapes and be able to spell the word family. So you just wouldn't use one of your L's and you would need M, I, and Y to make the word family. Maybe you could even do one of those letters on the back of the other L. Anyway, I thought these turned out super cute. And again, you can use them with whatever paper, colors go along with your fall decor style. And now for DIY number 4, we're going to use these few items from the Fall Crafts at Dollar Tree. This pumpkin pie sign with the top and bottom wood. This fabric I fell in love with when I saw it, and this wood coffee cup shape. So spritz some water on the glitter and it makes it a lot easier to scrape off. Then wipe it off really good. I even sanded it a little bit because I want this sign to be as flat as possible. Yes, I could turn it over and use the back, but I may decide to sell this. So I want the back to look, finished. So it's just going to be plain. Once we get all that glitter off and get it nice and smooth, I'm just going to tape off those two wood sections at the top and the bottom with some painter's tape. And then I'm going to paint over the recipe with, I think I ended up using plaster or ivory, just one coat, just so that it's not going to show through the fabric. I was so excited when I found this fabric in the fall craft section at Dollar Tree this year. I love all these colors. It's like the colors I love to use. So you're going to think I cut this really weird, but I was trying to get the big piece so I didn't have to iron it because I didn't have time to iron it. So I'm going to trim it so that it's pretty much at least top to bottom, the size I need to fit on here. It's going to overlap on the sides a little bit, but that's okay. We'll take care of that. I am using fabric Mod Podge. This stuff is thick, you guys, but I'm going to do a nice thick layer on top of the paint that we did, and we let that dry completely. And then I'm going to place my piece of this beautiful, beautiful fabric down. You guys tell me, what other awesome crafts could I do with this super cute plaid fabric for fall? I just love it. I want to do more things with it. So get it nice and smoothed out. And then it does say to let it dry for like 2 hours before you put more on top. Okay, this is a new sign this year, and I just thought it was so adorable. I'm just going to paint it with Waverly chalk paint in pumpkin. And then the two raised sections I'm going to do with white. You're also going to see the cutout where the pumpkin is. I'm going to use a tiny brush in there and get some of the orange paint as well as some hazelnut for the stem. Okay, so once I was done painting the latte cup, I'm going to come back to my fabric, and now I'm doing another layer of the Mod Podge over the top, and I am going to brush it a little bit on the wood, even though it's fabric Mod Podge. We just want this fabric to stay down, secured, and to be dried completely before we move on to this next step where I'm going to trim the excess now with my little fingertip knife. I've used this one a couple times in this video, and people usually ask me where I get it. I will put the link for it in my Amazon storefront in the description of this video. Now, I thought this project needed some of these fall word stencils from my Magnolia shop at monarchmomdiy.com. So I'm going to do Happy Fall, y'all. And the color of chalk paste, of course, that I'm going to use is Blue Ice because 1, it's in the fabric, and 2, I just love orange and teal together for fall. So just quickly applying that over the stencil to get these cute words on here. Now, I think this sign would be just as cute without words, but you can do what you want to do. It was still looking a little plain, so I'm going to take a little of that color, and with my squeegee, I'm just going to outline the 2 white sections on our sign with this teal, just to give it a little more color and a little more texture. Now, once that was dry, I'm going to take that walnut stain Tim Holtz again and distress around the orange cup on this so that we have lots of things with dimension and color, and I just love it. Once we have that all the way dry, I'm just going to put hot glue on the back of it and stick this down on top of what started out to be the pumpkin pie recipe. Here, I'm just using it as a backdrop to make our own little 3D sign for fall. Again, you can take this idea, put something different on the middle if you don't like the latte cup. Lots of different things you can do with this idea. I hope you guys liked this project and you enjoyed the 4 projects in this video. Let me know in the comments which was your favorite. Which one do you think you're gonna try first? And here are some other fall home decor DIY videos that you can watch next. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.